Tindelas, Pumbe South Africa. Shosholoza, Ules on Tabas, Tindelas, Pumbe South Africa. When you balega, Ules on Tabas, Tindelas, Pumbe South Africa. When you balega, Ules on Tabas, Tindelas, Pumbe South Africa.
Our former state president, Nelson Mandela, said, "I believe that South Africa is the most beautiful place on earth. Admittedly, I am biased, but when you combine the natural beauty of sunny South Africa with the friendliness and cultural diversity of our people, and the fact that the region is a haven for Africa's most splendid wildlife, then I think even the most scrupulous critic would agree that we have been blessed with a truly wonderful land." Horse racing has been a popular sport in South Africa for just over 200 years. The first recorded horse race took place in 1797, whilst the first race meeting was staged in 1804.
First time the Durban July ends in a dead heat, with King Willow.
South African racing has gone through enormous change since then. Prior to the late 1990s, racing was run by a number of clubs, which owned individual race courses and who operated several different totalizators in the various provinces. The clubs tended to guard their independence zealously and to compete with one another, which was not always good for racing and which contributed to the fragmentation of the industry. It is fair to say that the club structure served racing well during the 20th century, when racing was the only game in town. However, during the latter part of the 1990s and early 2000s, racing and totalizator turnovers suffered dramatically as a result of new forms of legalized gambling, such as metropolitan casinos, bingo halls, and the introduction of a national lottery. The situation was further exacerbated by South Africa's re-entry into the international community, with almost unlimited access to international sporting events. To put it mildly, the future of South African horse racing looked very bleak indeed. A new dispensation was negotiated with government, which included the corporatization of the racing clubs and totalizators and a reduction in betting taxes. This led to the consolidation of the industry into two horse racing and totalizator operators: Phumelela Gaming and Leisure Limited, which is listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, and Gold Circle Pty Limited, a company essentially owned by the racing clubs in the provinces in which it operates. Of course, reduction in betting taxes provided much-needed relief, but this by itself would only have staved off the looming spectre of failure and insolvency. The turnaround can really be attributable to the restructuring of the industry into commercially orientated businesses, with successes being enjoyed by all participants in the industry. Unfortunately, in the process, we have had to ruthlessly cut back costs and change the financial model. Phumelela and Gold Circle have worked closely together to achieve efficiencies, economies, and scale. Currently, we race on 364 days of the year, and all race meetings are staged by Phumelela, who own 5 racecourses in the provinces of Gauteng, Northern Cape, Eastern Cape, and the Free State, and Gold Circle, who own 5 in the Western Cape and KwaZulu-Natal. There are, however, in total 15 racing surfaces at these racecourses, of which 13 are turf and 2 are sand tracks. During the season ending 31st July 2009, they staged 3,756 races at 436 race meetings. There were 43,508 starters, which raced for stakes of just under 300 million rand. There were 3,852 registered owners, partnerships, and syndicates. The total number of horses in training were trained by 187 licensed trainers and ridden by 108 licensed jockeys and apprentices. Approximately 90% of horses in training are stabled in training centres owned by Phumelela and Gold Circle. The South African Jockeys Academy is an international renowned institution which trains all apprentices who subsequently graduate as fully fledged jockeys. Testament to this is the fact that over the past 20 years, our jockeys have won the UK Jockeys Championship and have won the champion jockey title on numerous occasions in Hong Kong, Mauritius, Macau, and Singapore. For many years, South African horses were largely unable to compete internationally as a result of the country's apartheid regime and the existence of African horse sickness. However, over the past 10 years, our horses have proven themselves on racetracks worldwide, and in particular in Hong Kong and Dubai. A few that spring to mind are the victories by Ippy Tombi in the 2003 Group 1 Dubai Duty Free,
Drawing clear of Paolini and Ippy Tombi beat Paolini. Royal Trist
Iridescence in the Group 1 2006 QE2 Cup in Hong Kong, following up on the 1997 win in this race by London News. The record-setting win by JPEG in the 2008 Group 1 Dubai Duty Free, and his flawless performance in the 2008 Group 1 Singapore Airlines Cup.
JPEG is in front of Recast. In third position is Sir Slick, but JPEG wins the cup. JPEG by a length and a half on Recast.
Thoroughbred breeding in South Africa is as much a romance as it is a business. The attraction lies in the promise of a lifetime of happiness and fulfillment, watching the offspring grow up and achieve great things. The romance is set in some of the most wonderful of locations in South Africa and includes all the makings of a good movie: desire, power, money, and ambition. The main breeding areas in South Africa are in the Western Cape, the KwaZulu-Natal Midlands, and the Karoo. Each of these areas has its own unique qualities, which blend together to produce the basic elements of the champion racehorse. The devastatingly beautiful Western Cape has a number of areas, all of which have the potential to produce excellent racehorses. Not far from Cape Town, the same climate that produces some of the best wines in the world also produce the finest thoroughbreds. Further inland, you get to the area which includes the small towns of Bonnievale, Robertson, and Ashton, a fertile area collectively known as the Bar Valley, also world-renowned for its wines and top racehorses. The central area of the Western Cape, around the town of Ceres, has the best climate and fertile soils for the cultivation of fruit and racehorses. KwaZulu-Natal is a popular holiday destination, and the choices are wide, from pristine unspoiled beaches along the warm Indian Ocean to the peaks of the Drakensberg mountain range. At the foothills of the mountains lies an area known as the Midlands, a perfect nursery for top-class horses. This is the region which, for the last 5 years, has produced the champion breeder. During the 2008-2009 racing season, horses produced at Summerhill Stud earned a total of 14,088,530 rand. Although this is 1.3 million rand less than the record 15,363,730 rand that Summerhill earned during the previous season, it is still a staggering amount. The Karoo region has produced its share of classic racehorses. Although declining in popularity in recent times, horses raised in this area are known for their toughness. It is no coincidence that champion golfer Gary Player chose to breed horses there. For decades, horses have come out of these semi-desert conditions to fight out the finishes of the country's best races. There has been a steady increase in foal production over the past 5 years. The 2004 foal crop was the lowest for many decades. Diminishing returns and increased costs had for a long time forced breeders to stop breeding from unprofitable mares. The success of horses that were exported from South Africa, horses such as Victory Moon, Ippy Tombi, Crimson Palace, Perfect Promise, Iridescence, and National Colour, drove the prices of yearlings through the roof and stimulated the production of more thoroughbreds. Talking of yearling sales prices, we can see the numbers for the national yearling sales over the last 5 years. In a period of 4 years, from 2005 to 2008, the average price fetched by a yearling on the sale increased by 77%.